Hello, my fellow chatterers and book lovers, and anyone else who's popped in because you're curious about what this is or you've got a bit lost. I am Chatty, welcome to my channel Chatty the Mad Chatter, and I'm going to be chatting away madly about June's book stats. So if you love a stat, if statistics are your thing, especially around books, pull up a chair, grab a brew, come and join me. If you don't, then you've come to the wrong place. So on my channel, I do all my long videos in one shot. There is no editing. So cheers, everyone. Clink, 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 clink. So it could be chaos. We will see. So I'm going to start off by going through all the books I kind of had on my June TBR from playing my Book Ladders and Bookworms game. If you're not sure what that is, I will leave a link here and you can have a little click and check it out if you want to. There's no pressure. So these are all the books I've picked, and I have my very helpful notepad to remind myself of what they all were. So I had Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry, which was from my seasonal shelf. So I have kind of books on a shelf so I can see them and kind of rotate it on sort of a seasonal basis. And so that was one I chose from there. Then we have Murder on the Safari Star, which is the third book in the Adventures on Train series by Sam Sedgman and M.G. Leonard. This was Reward. So Reward from reading all my April books, and that was for that a library book. I could read a library book but count it for the Read What You Own challenge, which I really wanted to finish. So that was that one. And then I have The Hollow Hills, which was another seasonal shelf pick by Mary Stewart. It is the second book in the Merlin trilogy. I then have The Map of Leaves, which was a Worrying Worm pick. So I had to get a book which was very similar to one colour, and the colour was sort of like a violety lilac colour, and most of the Map of Leaves cover is that violety lilac colour. And then I got a lucky ladder and I chose Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson, and that was to read a recently acquired book. And then I got Roll Away, and the prompt card I picked was Expanding My Horizons, reading a book about mental health, and I chose Under Rose Tainted Skies by Louise Gornell. And then finally I added an extra book because I really wanted to do the punishment, which was with my new cards. We're all mad here, and I had to play sort of a very tricky game between book I wanted to read and book I didn't want to read. And I lost. I did only a pack of cards and failed to find a pair. I do feel it was a bit hard, so I think I do need to tweak it a little bit, but I failed to find a pair in 3 goes. So I was reading the book I didn't really feel like reading at that time, which was Mr. Nobody's Eyes by Michael Monpergo. So there we go. So let's see if I read them. So I did say to myself, because I'm trying to encourage myself to write reviews on Storygraph and like keep up to date with Storygraph. So I didn't have to read all the books. I just had to read 4, but those 4 I read had to be reviewed on Storygraph. So Legends and Lattes, I read that one. Murder on the Safari Star, I read that one. The Hollow Hills, did not read that one. So I'm going to take The Hollow Hills out. Map of Leaves, I read that one. Tress of the Emerald Sea, I didn't read. I feel really gutted. Don't know why I feel gutted, because I could just pick it up now and read it. But it's one of those things again where I just kind of feel I'm anticipating it so much. I want to be in like the perfect reading moment to read it, and it just didn't happen in June, because June was supposed to be chilled out. But June was actually really crazy because I was preparing and getting ready for the Readathon Journey-a-thon. So my June had a lot of that going on. There's a lot of end of year stuff going on with my kids. I work. There was a lot going on. So it just didn't happen. So I did not read Tress. I did not read Under Rose Tainted Skies either. So there we go. But I did read Mr. Nobody's Eyes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I did read 4 books. How many did I review on Storygraph? 0. Nope. Did not review a single one. I did do a review, but it was for like an older book that was on there. So I'm not up to date. I'm still not up to date. I started putting some July books on there and have not progressed any further. I am not doing well at all with Storygraph. I think I need to reorganize. I don't quite know how I'm gonna move forward with all of this. I'm trying to work out what is my block to doing this, and I think it's that is something that's going to take time, and I think I'm still giving myself, for some reason, some sort of pressure that I need to be finishing things or kind of like moving on with things. A mixture as well of like trying to film certain things, trying to have certain things ready. I kind of gave myself a lot more kind of like filming commitments and things. So yeah, I'm gonna work it all out going forward. But for now, there's a punishment. June, there's a punishment. I did not complete. So for my August TBR, which is already out because I posted it on time, because I'm doing everything backwards, I did a punishment because I knew that I hadn't done this. So the punishment was that I was going to add in the We're All Mad Here cards, and if I hit a colour more than twice, if I did a colour more than twice, then I would do one of those cards, and that was the punishment because I like it to relate to the book game, and that seemed like a really fun way to do it. Whether I progress forward with the punishment and reward, I might start giving myself a break from all of that, because I'm really just not doing it. I like this concept. I think it's great, but there's still some kind of block that is stopping me from reviewing books, and I need to balance it all out. I need to kind of work through it all a bit better and I need to try and shut down reading so much. Anyway, that's for me to work on, and I'll get back to you when I've decided what on earth I'm doing with that. But all you need to know is I did not manage it, and there is a punishment. And if you want to see my August TBR video with the punishment in tow, I shall link that here. So let's crack on with the stats now. So despite me not reading all of the books in that TBR and not writing any reviews, I have got some more books to add to the pile of what I have read. Now, this looks a lot, doesn't it? This looks a lot. So it's like, why have you had time to read these but not time to write stats? Well, the reason is these two books, We Are Displaced by Malala Yousafzai. Malala Yousafzai. I started reading it in May, so I wanted to finish it in June because I was really enjoying it and wanted to continue. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, the same. I started reading it in May, hadn't finished it in May, so wanted to continue and read on in June. So that's those two. Now we're gonna add in there. These two are placeholders. So this one is a placeholder for the audiobook Parenting Hell by Rob Beckett and Josh Widdicombe, which is a non-fiction about sort of a podcast they started in lockdown and their own kind of personal stories with parenting. And this one is a stand-in for The House of Sky and Breath, which is the second book in the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. And the reason I was able to read these two was because they were audiobooks. So House of Sky and Breath came in earlier than I thought it would, so I thought, well, I'll read it now because I can just listen to it as I go because it's an audiobook. And I then ran out of audiobooks before the month ended, so I chose Parenting Hell. So that is why I have been able to read more than you would have thought. So I wasn't doing a lot of physical eye reading, shall we say. So it was a lot easier for me to pick up books on the go. So we're just going to add them in here, and then I'm going to get into the stats. Just going to grab some tea because it's always good. And also, if you have eyeballs, you will see that I'm not going to put them too close because they're quite gross, but I have actually got painted nails today, which is very rare. You never see that happen. But I went to the Pride Festival. I had tickets for the Sunday in Brighton, and it was amazing. And I wanted to relive my 90s fun times where I would paint my fingers different colours. So I've got blue and purple on every other finger. So that was quite fun. I haven't painted my nails for ages, absolutely ages. So that was fun. Anyway, waffle away. Let's actually crack on with some stats, shall we? So first stat is the genres. So I read 2 non-fiction books this month, which was quite interesting. So I read Malala Yousafzai's We Are Displaced, and I read Parenting Hell by Rob Beckett and Josh Widdicombe. So that's 2 non-fiction. I then read, I believe it was 3, checking my notes. Yes, 3 fantasy books. So that is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. That is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas, and The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. And then that leaves me with one historical fiction, Michael Morpurgo's Mr. Nobody's Eyes, one magical realism, The Map of Leaves by Yarrow Townsend, and one mystery, which is Murder on the Safari Star by Sam Sedgman and M.G. Leonard. So, and there we go, that is the genres, and I'm going to pause so I can put them all back. Amazing, all safely back on the shelf without knocking over my tea. Win, win, win. So I read 5 adult books this month, and I read 3 middle grade. Now, one of my goals was to have a third of what I read as middle grade, because I wanted to read more middle grade. So this definitely counts, because if I'd read one more book, that would be 9, and that would be a third. So I've read over a third. So yay! One goal is being achieved, even if nothing else is. Now I'm going to look at the sizes of what I've been reading. I like to put my sizes towards animals because I'm a very visual person. So I have read 4 mouse books, which are Mr. Nobody's Eyes, Legends and Lattes. I'm just going to work out the other 2. We Are Displaced and Murder on the Safari Star. So for mouse-sized books are anything that are under 300 pages but above 150. Mr. Nobody's Eyes is just over 150, it's 190 pages. I then read 2 goats. So goats are anything over 300 pages but less than 400. And that is The Map of Leaves and Parenting Hell. I then have 1 cow. Very nearly an elephant. So a cow is anything between 400 and 500 pages. This was just short of, an elephant is over 500 pages. This was just short. This is 490. So The Night Circus is a cow. And I have a blue whale. House of Sky and Breath is over 700 pages. So anything 700 to 900 pages is a blue whale. And that's why that was an audiobook, because that was a lot of pages for something I wasn't particularly enjoying. Okay, so we've done sizes. We are now onto series. So, I have progressed with 1 series. That is Murder on the Safari Star. Amazing. Book 3. Very pleased with myself. I have then technically started 1 series. So Legends and Lattes, there is a prequel due, I think in September this year, but I could be wrong. But I have a feeling it's September this year. So technically, although I have started, because I finished this, I'm technically up to date with the Legends and Lattes series. I'm also up to date with the Crescent City series with House of Sky and Breath. But, so Legends and Lattes, yes, I'm up to date with. I am DNFing Crescent City because I did not enjoy House of Sky and Breath, and as I am going to be watching other people's reviews on Flame and Shadow, which I believe is coming out in 2024, just because I'm curious to see if people who had issues with House of Sky and Breath continue to have issues with Flame and Shadow or actually enjoy it. I'm not a Mass fan, so the fun bits that people enjoyed at the end weren't exactly a reason to kind of hook me, but I really enjoyed Earth and Blood. But what I enjoyed about Earth and Blood was a plot that where everything came together. Sky and Breath did not give me that, so I'm DNFing the series because it was just too painful. So there we go, that is my series. No series finished, but I've DNF'd, so that's a series that I can just ignore now. So that is gone from my series list. And I'll be updating you on my series at the end of the year. If you want to know my series for the half of the year, then I have a video here where it kind of goes through how I'm doing with my series at the moment. So moving on to formats. So I read 5 novels. Coming to me, hold on. Pulling out all the ones I don't need. Yeah, 5 novels, which are Legends and Lattes, Mr. Nobody's Eyes, We Are Displaced, The Map of Leaves, and The Night Circus. So all those I read with my eyeballs, bearing in mind I'd started already 2 of them. And then I had 3 audiobooks. So that's Parenting Hell, Murder on the Safari Star, and House of Sky and Breath. So I keep saying that is why I read so much this month, because I did not really do a lot of eyeball reading this month. And then I have not had any rereads. So all of these are new reads to me. I've never read them before. So where do I get my books from? I borrowed one. So Map of the Leaves was borrowed. 3 of them are mine. Oh, amazingly, these 3 are next to each other here. So that's Legends and Lattes, Mr. Nobody's Eyes, and We Are Displaced. And these 4 are all from the library. So 2 were borrow box, and 2 are physical books I got out the library. So in terms of the Read What You Own challenge, you would think that wasn't really great for me because there's so many library books. However, only one of these 4 books that I own actually are part of the Read What You Own challenge. So Legends and Lattes I earned after I did the challenge. So these books have all been ticked off my shelf. So that's 3 books, but actually it's 4 because my reward in June was that one of my library books would count to Read What You Own. And when I get to the end of Read What You Own, I get to buy some more books and have them right then and there. So actually I've got 4 books of the Read What You Own challenge, which is awesome. And if you want to know about the Read What You Own challenge, I have already completed it. And here is my update on the Read What You Own challenge, which I shall link here. I think this video should be called Stats and Signposting to my other videos. Okay, I think the next one is quite simple, unfortunately. So looking at one of my goals is to have half of my books be from global majority authors, which means authors that are not writing, that are not white, and writing Eurocentric based books. Only one, and this was left over from May. So not a great month for my diversity and trying to read more from global majority authors. Just Malala Yousafzai. So not doing great with that at all, but I kind of figured I wouldn't be when I pulled out the books for my list. It just turned out that way, unfortunately. Again, I think the reasoning is I do just tend to have more books that are white Eurocentric. Series that I'm reading tend to be more white Eurocentric. It is something I'm addressing, and I'm trying to find more, have more books on my shelves, and read more books that are from global majority authors, so I'm getting more of a balance, but that is something I shall continue to work on. So the final bit I want to talk about is am I reading diversely? So I've already spoken about a little bit about global majority. I also want to be reading more diversely in terms of having books about characters that are part of the LGBTQ+ community, and also characters where they either have a disability or are neurodivergent. And again, not great with these. So in terms of LGBT, just need to check one thing.